So by now you should know what sociology is. It is the scientific study of society. It focuses on observing, analyzing, and explaining social interactions. And in a previous section of your textbook reading, you were able to get a context in which this study of sociology was born. It was in that section you also were introduced to several key early leaders in sociology, among them the trio of Durkheim, Marx, and Weber. But how does one go about explaining the information that they're collecting about society? Or maybe a better question would be, are there different ways to look at the same topic or same issue? And the answer is yes. So as you read today, you want to focus on the main idea, which is this. Sociology employs three major theoretical perspectives. Functionalism, which focuses on order and stability. Conflict, which focuses on power relations. And interactionism, which focuses on how individuals interact with one another in everyday life. Now, Durkheim, Marx, and Weber were the pioneers of these three perspectives. Durkheim saw things from the functionalist perspective. He saw society like a human body. We all have many different parts in our human bodies, like arms, feet, mouth, eyes, and ears. Our human bodies are also made up of different systems too, like the nervous, circulatory, and digestive systems. Our bodies have different organs, the brain, heart, and stomach. But with all this diversity, they all work together to function as one body. Now, Durkheim saw society as the same. Society has different cultural parts. They could be racial, ethnic, or gender groups. Society has different systems like education, political, and economic institutions. But society functions well when all of these are working together. So the way Durkheim studied social life was to show the order and the stability in society to ensure that it functions well. Now, Karl Marx, when he looked at that, he said that was a bunch of hooey. Now, did I just say hooey? You bet. Marx said that Durkheim's perspective was nonsense. He said that society as it currently is organized will never function well because of the division between the haves and the have-nots. Marx was interested in how some gained power and then they controlled others with that power. He was interested in exposing the conflicts that can exist and do exist in a society. He focused primarily on the economic conflict, with the division being between the wealthy upper class, which often represents just a couple percent of the population, and the working poor, who make up the majority of society. Now, other conflict sociologists might look at the conflict that exists between males and females, among different ethnic groups or religious groups. In fact, any situation where you can identify the haves and the have-nots. Now, Max Weber was an interactionist. He saw value in the ideas of the functionalist and conflict theories. However, he was more interested in how people interacted and communicated through the use of symbols. Now, symbols naturally includes language, but it also includes many other forms of shared understanding, which can be gestures or dress as well. For example, an interactionist sociologist would be very interested in examining and explaining the gang culture in our society. There are several symbols or tags that they use, colors, gestures, and dress to show who's in and who's out. This is true for business, education, and just about every other aspect of society as well. And this is where the functionalist and the conflict theories can both come into play. So as you are reading through this section, I recommend that you use a graphic organizer like this one. As you're reading, focus on answering this question. In what ways do the three perspectives differ in their focus? So you want to look at the functionalist, You want to look at the conflict, and you want to look at the interactionist and be able to take notes. For example, the functionalist you will want to identify with order and stability. All right, so now what you want to do is read through the section and complete the rest of this information.